You do not need a relationship to be happy. I have beat this topic to death with friends who have been complaining to me about how depressed they are over not having a relationship. And it's actually driving me insane at this point because the reality is that you should be happy without it in the first place. And people hate that advice. They hate it so much, but there are two very good logical reasons for it. One is often cited that, you should be a happy person because you'll be a better partner before you try to get into a relationship. If you get into a relationship and you're somebody who's depressed, odds are it's going to affect your behavior in that relationship, and it will also negatively impact the person that you're now dating, which is a commonly cited reason, and it's good, it's true, and it's important. But the other reason is, what happens if you get into a relationship and you still feel lonely? You still feel depressed. You still feel like you don't know what you're doing on earth. And it's scary. It's a scary, scary thought. And the answer really is just that you can't be trying to add material things and other people to your life to cure what's in your mind. You need to figure out your mind yourself. And I want to kind of motivate that logic. You see, let's do a thought experiment where we picture that we are in a world where we are the only person alive. The odds are that would be very scary, but everything from society is left around us. We can adopt a dog, we can live in the nicest buildings since no one else is around, and we can just kind of live out our days watching old movies, playing old games until we pass on. Which still doesn't sound like a great life, but for most people, they probably wouldn't even be upset or extremely depressed about not having a relationship because it would just be off the table completely. Another thought experiment would be to imagine that you're like a heterosexual man, but women don't exist. And what would you do in this world now that's only men, but society is otherwise the same? You'd probably be excited about new video games, you'd be excited about new movies, you'd want to go out to party, go out to club, do whatever, regardless, and try to have fun and live a good life until you die. You wouldn't let it be a focal point of depression that you can't have a relationship. You would just maximize what you could. And the most extreme case is to think, what if women never existed? You don't even know about it. At that point, you could have all the same cravings and all the same feelings and cues and stimuli to want a relationship, but you don't even know what you're missing out on. And this kind of motivates that a lot of it is in our head, and we are comparing ourselves to other people with what they have and what we want. And so when you recognize that, you can start to think to yourself, if it's a mental problem, then perhaps I can fix it on my own in my own mind. And this is completely true. And the most practical thing you can do to do that is to attack what are called automatic negative thoughts. These are ANTs for short. I got the idea from Jim Kwik. It's one of the books on my bookshelf. This split is taking a toll on me. And the idea of ANTs is that sometimes when we lie down to go to bed, for example, we remember something negative that we did, something embarrassing or a breakup that we had, or something where we failed. And we use it to beat ourselves up. We ask ourselves, why wasn't I enough for the person I was in a relationship with? We ask ourselves, why didn't I study a little bit harder? My best friend went to a good college. Why wasn't I more like him? Or my other friend got a D1 offer, and guess what? I had potential, but I just never tried hard enough. You can beat yourself up about pretty much everything, but people often do it mainly about relationships and not being able to get their most desirable partner. And you have to shut down these thoughts as soon as they happen because they are very addicting. They will start to bombard your mind, and they're automatic. The automatic part is real. They just come into your mind and dominate that space, and they're often very negative. They're like the type of things you would never say to a friend or family, but somehow you find it okay to say to yourself. You have to shut them down immediately by denouncing whatever automatic negative thought just came up, and then rebasing it with the opposite positive thoughts. So one example would be to say, why can't I be normal? This was something I read on Kitchen Cells one time. And you would rebase that thought with, I am normal to me, and I'm normal because I understand myself. And guess what? I'm human, I deserve love, and I can love myself, and I'll start with myself. And that's kind of the idea that you want to do every time you have these negative thoughts. And in addition to that, you often want to pair them with action, because you can be incompetent at something, right? Like some of us are incompetent, some of us are bad people, some of us are XYZ. But if you're working to improve it and you rebase these negative thoughts, you will believe them. You will become to embody them. It works. It just needs the action alongside it most of the time. And one frame of mind you can use to really get into it is to imagine what advice you'd give to a friend who came to you with that concern. Because often the victimization and the patronization we have of ourselves, we would never do to a friend or family member. I meet so many people who treat their pets, their friends, their family super, super well, then they treat themselves poorly. And it's a paradox. On some logical level, you need to care about yourself more than you care about others. Because the relationship that you can have with yourself is the most profound. You can't have that with anyone else. And you're the only one who knows everything about you to be able to have that relationship with you. So it's not selfish to want to prioritize yourself and really treat yourself well. Oh, yeah, I feel my hips, all right. But yeah, this is kind of just a rant and a stream of consciousness talk. I browse r/kitchen cells a lot, and I try to hope maps and just talk to people on there and try to help them. And this is the biggest thing, that people are just really, really lonely in the modern age, or at least we can hear about it. And I really do believe that, there is no reason to be so depressed over something like this. It's okay to feel lonely, and if you feel lonely, that's fine. But if it's to the point that you're depressed, that's a serious issue, and you need to treat it like one. Yeah, sorry for the ramble. I'm very passionate about this issue, and I just want to talk about it for a bit. Have a good one. Oh.